your opinion on Jordan Henderson going to Ajax. I guess my opinion would be this, Katie. Taking aside the Saudi Arabia stuff, Ajax is a great club to have on your CV. And he signed what looks like a 2.5 year deal. So from that regard, for him to hang up his boots in the future and say he played for Ajax, it's a pretty good thing to say. He's going to wear the number 6 there. You've already seen him in the Ajax shirt. Look, Ajax needs something. You know, they've had a pretty horrific season. And whether Jordan Henderson can make a difference in there or not, maybe. You know, the Eredivisie is certainly not at the same level as the Premier League, but it's certainly a level above the Saudi Pro League. So we'll have to wait and see how he gets on, but good move. I'd put it down as a good move for him. I've not really got much else to add to it. I don't think it's a bad move for him. You know, he wants to come back to Europe. He came to an agreement with Al-Ettifaq to mutually rip up his contract, and Ajax have taken him on board. So I guess let's see what happens. What I don't, and I heard this spoken about last night as well on Sky, what I can figure out is still how he thought it was going to work. Not the Ajax part, the move to Saudi. You know, people around him are apparently telling him of the pitfalls of the potential move. And I'll never understand how he thought it was a good idea. It felt weird, the whole lot of it. And I wonder, like, are we at a point now where we're already starting to see that project buckle a little bit? Because over the past week, we've seen a lot of reports that I've just got to close my Discord. Sorry, it's distracting me here. That the Saudi Pro League are changing their opinion and their way they're going to try and sign players. So there's been talk that they're going to go around Europe to try and get the best young talent. But I don't think that's a sustainable business model, because in order for the best young talents to realise their potential and become your Messis, your Ronaldos, your Haalands, your Mbappes, you got to have the exposure at the highest level. So young players going over to Saudi, even if they play very, very well, they're just not going to have that same exposure, and they're not going to be playing at the same level. So their development won't reach its potential. And if you do it the other way, and you do what China did apparently, or what the MLS initially did when they made their first error, was you get players at the tail end of their career who want a pension. So for any of these leagues, if they want to establish themselves in world football, I think looking at MLS is probably a pretty good example of persistence, tweaking things as you go along with the league, and making the right decisions at the right time on what type of figureheads to bring in to grow the presence of the league. But there's one other factor that is a reason why Europe and South America, I guess, are the hotbeds of football talent. And that's because of the climates and stuff, you know. Football in Europe is played in reasonable climates. Same in South America. Yes, it can be warm at time, but nowhere near the levels we're talking about in the desert. So I think if Saudi really want to work the Pro League, they have to build it from the ground up and not from the top down. You know, they need to invest in the lower leagues. They need to invest in the structure of the game in the country. They need to bring through more coaches. They need to bring through younger players. They need to be looking at it as a 15, 20-year project rather than just trying to get your Neymars and your Ronaldos in. That will work to some extent, and it will certainly bring eyes to the league. But here's what I don't know. Do you want the eyes of the world on the league when the league isn't what it needs to be yet? Is that going to be short-term thinking? So let's say you've watched Premier League football your entire life, and you said, I'm going to give the Saudi Pro League a chance. You know, I've seen some players go over there. It's interesting. And you look at it, and you see the level, and you don't like the level of it. You just think it's a little bit hit and miss. The level isn't where it needs to be. You're probably just going to bin that league off and think, well, that's not going to work. So I don't know if the strategy is the right one, but I guess time will tell. Football isn't one of these things that you can just throw money at, because you're getting the wrong type of people. You're getting mercenaries, not people who genuinely want to succeed as an athlete. And I think they've made a mistake going after football. Boxing, a lot easier to take over the big fights in boxing. It is just a matter of putting the money on the table and stuff like that. Golf, kind of a similar thing. But if you want to try and take over football and drag it away from Europe and South America, that's a big undertaking with a lot longer game than, as in the plan to try to do it with golf or WWE as an example, as entertainment purposes. You can do those things a lot easier.